gentlemen, we are back live. Again, thank you for joining us, spending some of your Sunday afternoon or evening with us, depending on what time zone you're tuning into across the globe. Might be the middle of the night or 5 a.m. in the morning. Again, thank you for joining us. Okay, here's our top story. I covered this some last week. Obama signed this, just 7 days ago on January 11th, 2010. And I spent a few days reading over it, checking the U.S. code, checking the laws that it mentions, and it ties into Presidential Decision Directive 51, signed by Bush 3 years ago. And remember, Congress wanted to get the full Presidential Decision Directive and accompanying executive order, and Bush declared national security and wouldn't even let Homeland Security Committee, which is supposedly co-equal with the president, wouldn't even let them have access to it. Okay? But the cover sheet stated that for any emergency, including economic, anywhere in the world, that the executive is over the legislative and judicial, over the courts, over the Congress, which is unconstitutional. It's supposed to have separation of powers. The people aren't supposed to be divided, what the government always tries to do. The government's supposed to be divided so that you can't ever get a dictatorship. Well, this is what the founders said. This is what America is. It's why we love the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So President Bush signed this national security directive. And I want, for the PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, we're going to give folks a document cam shot of this. And it says the continuity government program will enhance the credibility of our national security posture and enable more rapid, effective response and recovery. And it goes on. The catastrophic emergency means any incident, regardless of location in the world, that results in extraordinary levels of mass casualties, damages, or disruption severely affecting the U.S. population, infrastructure, environment, economy, or government functions. And under this, the president is over the governors, he's over the legislatures of the states, he's over the Congress, and Congress has no authority. And then Congress asked for the full secret document, and it's still classified to this day. Obama has continued breaking his promise of transparency and has not released the full text of this and other memorandum. Though connected into this is his new announcement. His new announcement. He is creating, with this executive order signed January 11th, 2010, with this new executive order titled Establishment of the Council of Governors, and this is an actual copy from the whitehouse.gov. I'll have my guys live on air, Google, Establishment of the Council of Governors, executive order. We'll pull it up at whitehouse.gov for you, and it's a short order, and it says here in the document that they are taking the governors, the states, the police forces, everything under the control of Northcom, that's the Pentagon, and Homeland Security. But don't worry, the states have their say. The president is going to appoint the 10 members, 5 governors from the Republican and 5 governors from the Democrats. Kind of like Bush called the 9/11 Commission independent when he appointed it, or Janet Reno appointed her own Waco investigation team. This would be like Hitler appointing his own Nuremberg judges. I mean, or Al Capone at his own court case doing that. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And there it is at whitehouse.gov, the executive order for anyone that wishes to see that for themselves. Separately, I have the Rand Corporation's plan here that they put out last year. And this plan, the Stability Police Force for the United States, justification, options for creating U.S. capabilities. This has already been implemented covertly in the last 15 years. But now they're just being open about it. And it has all the maps here of how Stability Police Force headquarters to run your local city. They have systems for medium-sized police forces, large police forces. They have the stability unit for small police units. Again, Communist Russia had this. Communist China has this. Russian news is freaking out, saying America gets its own Politburo. And on the Richter scale of tyranny, this is about a 10. And it goes back because now all these conservative groups are going, oh, my gosh, it's martial law. Oh, my gosh, Obama's having a big power grab. And yes, he is. But Obama is just the teleprompter reading minion or frontman, just like Bush was. He's just better than Bush was at it. It is the system that's doing this. Big central banks threatened martial law in early October of 2008. We've had multiple congressmen on this show on record that they were threatened that martial law would be declared if the trillions, not 700 billion, but trillions of dollars, Bloomberg reports it's now 28 trillion total, 28 trillion, were not given to a handful of banks, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and just a few others who are now caught in all this secretive dealings, not letting the public know that they got most of the money. Itself a reported crime that they did this, but now Geithner, who was the head of the Fed that set the policy out of the New York branch, that's the main branch with the real power, he's saying he knows nothing about it, but he's being called up before Congress. So we've covered all this in great detail in past shows, but coming out, I've got my fourth police state film, haven't released one since 2002, Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, comes out March 1st. The little secret that we've been producing that here. It's very powerful. And we go through all of this gradual de-evolution into classical tyranny. But the issue here, the overriding issue is we are under martial law right now. Martial law was threatened. PDD 51 puts it in place. The John Warner Defense Authorization Act that was passed bipartisanly by a Democrat Congress and a Republican president in 2007, and they reauthorized it in 2008, now 2009. They're doing 2010 now. And this is part of that Defense Authorization Act. This executive order dovetails and gets into the Defense Authorization Act of 2008. In fact, zoom in on that for people. This is bipartisan. All the distractions, all the Tea Party, balloons and confetti is a distraction. This is bipartisan tyranny at the highest levels. And the John Warner Defense Authorization Act states that Homeland Security and Northcom are established to deal with insurrection in the states and insurrection by governors. You now see 33 governors are saying they may declare 10th Amendment powers and not go under all this unconstitutional federal control. So the globalist tacticians and theoreticians and social engineers knew the real legitimate threat would come under the 9th and 10th Amendment under law to all this unconstitutional garbage that's taking place. The Democrats howled and screamed about Bush setting this up and said, oh, he wants to be a dictator. Then Obama comes in, Republicans say, oh, he wants to be a dictator. No. It's the military-industrial complex controlled by the banks that Eisenhower warned us about that already has this power in place. And now we've released the press releases. We posted them. Last year, the CHIP highway police said, oh, yes, we work with the Marines all over the states running random checkpoints for DWI on citizens. You're not for drunk drivers, are you? PR. Oh, troops at the Kentucky Derby, the NFL, warrantless checkpoints with the Army and Marines in Tennessee. They're quietly getting everyone ready for this and testing what local governments will resist. But on record, the federal government is engaging in high treason, overthrowing states' rights. We'll be right back after this quick break. This is so huge, he's now creating a governor's council of puppets so he can say he controls the states.